Australia is home to a number of iconic and famous roller coasters that enthusiasts from all over the world have on their bucket lists and dream of experiencing in their lifetimes. From the new and extremely unique family coaster Jungle Rush at Dreamworld, to the thrilling and exciting wooden coaster Leviathan at SeaWorld, and of course the world famous iconic DC rivals Hypercoaster at Warner Brothers Movie World. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mr. Yum Yum, and in today's video I'll be giving my top 10 list of roller coasters in Australia. I will start by giving a little warning that my personal criteria and what I look for in a roller coaster is slightly different from what most people look for when they're talking about roller coasters. Where most enthusiasts search for the most thrilling rides with intense forces and unique elements, I'm personally more interested in the overall package of the roller coaster from start to finish, the theming, the queue, and then of course the ride experience itself, and most importantly how the roller coaster is integrated into the theme park that it's home to. Before we start, I'd like to give a quick thank you to my channel members for supporting my content. Thank you so much. Starting off at number 10, we have the Great Scenic Railway at Luna Park, Melbourne. I know this is kind of an unusual coaster to put on this list, but I just think it's so unique and so charming. It originally opened in 1912 and it's still running to this day, which makes it the oldest continuously running roller coaster in the world. And it even features an onboard staff member who controls the brakes, which means that each experience can be a little bit different depending on when they choose to start the brakes. The coaster layout itself circles around Luna Park, Melbourne, and the rest of the park is contained within the walls of the coaster, which is extremely unique and so cool. I am a massive fan of that. Circling around the park, you get amazing views of the ocean and incredible views of the Melbourne city skyline in the distance. I would personally recommend riding this at nighttime. It's just a very magical experience. In terms of the actual coaster itself, it's obviously not the most intense coaster in the world, but it does feature some fun little elements, a few drops along the way and some pockets of airtime. It's not the most interesting coaster in the world, but it did open in 1912, so you can't really complain. And to top it all off, the ride has its own ghost story, which is so cool. If you ever visit the park, I'm sure the staff will be very happy to tell you all about the ghost stories on the actual roller coaster. Moving along to number 9, we have Storm Coaster at SeaWorld. This is a very short roller coaster, and again, a little bit of an unusual coaster to put on this list. But what makes this ride stand apart for me is the theming and the queue and just the overall package. The ride is themed to, as the name implies, a storm. So as you approach the ride, you see all kinds of shipping containers and cars and debris, and there's an amazing soundscape that plays, which is like the sound of wind and things rustling around, and it's just a really cool place to spend time. Even without going on the ride itself, you can have a great experience by watching the ride. It's got a really cool drop that actually goes under the queue through this tunnel with smoke, and then you pop up over a little airtime hill into a big splash at the end. Like I said, the thing that makes this ride stand apart is the theming, and it's got a great sort of indoor dark ride type section, which I'm a big fan of. Again, if you're watching the ride in here, you'll get very wet if you stand in the wrong spot as it comes down the drop. Unfortunately, the ride is just a little bit too short, and it's kind of bittersweet because it replaced the amazing Bermuda Triangle, which used to exist at SeaWorld in the past. So I can't help getting a little bit sad. If it was longer, if it was maybe a little bit more up to the standard of Bermuda Triangle, I'd possibly place it higher on the list. Next up, we have number 8, and please don't hate me, this is a very controversial take, but again, this is my personal list. Number 8 is Superman Escape. I know there's something wrong with me. This is a great roller coaster, but just let me remind you, this is the top 10 list. These are roller coasters that I think are quite good. Superman Escape, it's a very fast roller coaster. It's got a super intense launch, which goes straight into a top hat where you get amazing airtime. The ride experience itself is very short. It's like 40-50 seconds or something. It's just not long enough for me to fully get into it. As someone who's not crazy about thrills, I just find that I have to work myself up to that first launch. I know people are going to hate me for this, but I actually find the launch so intense that it kind of puts me off going on the ride because I'm a little wimpy, scaredy cat. But the ride does feature some really cool stuff. It's got a dark ride section before the actual coaster experience. It's themed to an earthquake that's happening in Metropolis. You get some really cool set pieces, some like flooding effects and things. I'm a huge fan of that. I also think the coaster is integrated into the space really well, and Movie World being themed to a movie studio, the Superman Escape coaster actually goes through one of the sound stages in this really great near-miss element. It's not something I get on very much because, like I said, I'm little wimpy boy, but it is a great roller coaster, undeniably, regardless of my silly quirks. Next, let's move along to number 7, Jet Rescue at SeaWorld. This is an underrated gem here in Australia. It is a very short ride, but it's one of the cases where that sort of motorbike style coaster actually works really well. I don't know what they did with this one, they just hit it out of the park, and it's a great experience. Some pretty good theming with nice rock work and a tunnel that you go past, and there's like a seal going as you go through the tunnel. Big fan of that element. Can you call that an element? If you put a seal on a roller coaster and make it yelp, let me know in the comments. Yeah, this is a really fun roller coaster to go on. It is thrilling, but it's not too thrilling that it kind of dissuades me from getting on it. And it's something that the whole family can enjoy. Maybe not the whole family, most of the family. Just a great ride. It's got 2 launches, one at the beginning and one in the middle as you go past the seal, and it's got some great elements. I don't know all the names of roller coaster elements, but my favorite part is like a S-turn or something. I don't know what to call it. You kind of go into a turn, and then midway through the turn kind of inverts on itself and jots out the other way, and you get this really cool like weaving and winding sort of sensation. Yeah, just a great attraction. Alright, now number 6, let's move all the way down to Victoria, and this is TNT at Gumbuya World. This was so unexpected from a park like this. Gumbuya World is kind of up and coming when it comes to roller coasters. They recently opened TNT, and they also recently bought Buzzsaw from Dreamworld and opened that as Project Zero. So at the moment the park has 3 roller coasters, those 2 as well as like a kiddie coaster. And TNT caught me off guard because it is like a pre-existing layout. It was my first time riding this specific layout, and first of all, the ride experience is excellent. It's a very fun roller coaster. Surprisingly intense. That first drop is actually a little bit scary, but doesn't quite reach the threshold of me not wanting to ride it. It's got some really fun elements like a helix, a near miss through the station itself, and a nice little bunny hop dip at the end of the ride. But the thing that really surprised me about this was how well themed TNT is. Like I said, Gumbuya World is kind of up and coming in terms of rides. For a park of this scale to have something so well themed with a relatively small budget was really impressive. And Warner Brothers Movie World actually recently opened the Wizard of Oz precinct, and they opened the same ride layout for Flight of the Wicked Witch. And Movie World is a park with a much higher budget, a much larger scale, and I actually found that TNT at Gumbuya World was overall a much better ride package in terms of theming and how it was integrated into the space. I believe it's themed to these 2 kind of crazy brothers making like explosive stuff, and you get some onboard audio. The queue for the ride is actually themed a little bit to like their warehouse or something. Meanwhile, at Warner Brothers Movie World, it doesn't really even come close to TNT at Gumbuya World. Like, there's no onboard audio, the station is kind of dull and boring, and the queue experience is not great except for a little indoor queue area before you actually reach the ride. So yeah, TNT at Gumbuya World is really underrated, and I'm super excited to see what Gumbuya World comes up with next. Moving on to number 5, back up to the Gold Coast for Steel Taipan at Dreamworld. I'm sure many enthusiasts will recognize this layout. It's kind of a semi-clone of Blue Fire, which also has a few other clones around the world. It's got the triple launch, it goes into a really cool spike, so right off the bat you've got a great start. On the 3rd launch you pick up enough speed to continue the layout, and you go over this huge outer bank turn. Is that the element? I'm trying to learn all the enthusiast terms. And then you go into the first inversion, and it's got 3 corkscrew inversions throughout the ride. The last one is very intense, it really chucks you out of your seat, and every time it surprises me. Steel Taipan also features a back row spinning seat that you can actually ride, which I don't think I'm ever going to try this, but I have heard it's one of the most unique roller coaster experiences you can do in the world. So if you're inclined to that kind of thing, you definitely have to get on it. The ride is of course themed to Snake, and it's got a pretty simplistic but cool queue line where you kind of walk through the snake's bones, I guess, and it's got a nice little pre-show. It's kind of blended into the landscape really nicely, and as you enter the park, you might actually notice that the layout of the coaster looks a little bit like a snake. Next, let's go back down the road to Warner Brothers Movie World for number 4, and I'm sorry this is going to be another controversial take, but remember, this is a personal list. Everyone's got different tastes. Number 4 on the list of top 10 coasters from Mr. Yum Yum in Australia, brace yourself, is DC Rivals Hypercoaster. I know, number 4, really? The 4th best coaster? And yeah, I know. Everyone says this is one of the best coasters in the world. I can see that objectively. It's amazing. It's fantastic. Is it for me? I don't know. I don't get on it enough to ride it because I'm terrified. It's so scary. So scary looking. I've been on it about 3 times. It's an amazing ride. It's impossible to miss as soon as you enter the park. It's right in your vision. It's incredible. The layout is so cool. The non-inverting loop, the insane airtime, that first drop, yeah, masterpiece roller coaster. Seriously, incredible stuff. Yeah, I don't get on it enough. I'm so scared of thrills. I need to build up my courage a little bit more to get on it again. I found that when I do get on it, it's not as scary as I thought it was going to be, and I'm convinced that I can do anything. I can conquer the world, and then a week passes by and I'm scared again. So I'm sorry for all the enthusiasts watching this, all the hardcore enthusiasts watching my video. DC Rivals at number 4, really? Yeah, I won't be surprised if I get a few dislikes. But at least I'm being authentic, right? I'm not out here just making a list that I think will be most popular. You can watch a million top 10 videos where DC Rivals comes out on top. Not surprising, like I say, it is a fantastic ride. No hate on DC Rivals whatsoever. Except maybe they should change the name to Joker Coaster, because when you're walking around Movie World, it's all you hear. You hear the GPs saying, let's go on Joker Coaster. I went on Joker Coaster. Yeah, DC Rivals Hypercoaster. It's a bit of a mouthful, and Joker Coaster is the way to go. Now we're moving along to the spicy, exciting part of the video, the final 3 top 10 roller coasters in Australia. Coming in at number 3 is Jungle Rush at Dreamworld, which is brand new. It's just opened very recently, along with the Rivertown precinct, which features Murrissippi Motors and a new restaurant, Jane's Rivertown Restaurant. This area is absolutely fantastic, and Jungle Rush is an enormous presence in the park. The amount of detail and creativity put into this ride is unbelievable, especially for something that exists in Australia. As soon as you enter Rivertown, you see the temple looming in the distance. It's themed to like an Indiana Jones sort of experience. It's got an amazing queue line, genuinely world-class queue line, and the ride itself is very unique. It's the world's first inclined turntable, which means that the ride can go on different paths, forwards and backwards. So each time that you ride the coaster, it's a slightly different experience. Also very different depending on which part of the train you sit in, because sometimes you'll be going backwards, sometimes you'll be going forwards, so you might get more airtime in one particular spot, less airtime, more speed. Very interesting ride to go on. The ride is not finished. They're still adding theming to it, so it's difficult for me to give a final analysis on how this will rank in the grand scheme of things. Maybe I'll make an updated list later in the future when it is complete. But for now, unfortunately, the actual ride experience doesn't quite live up to the expectation set by the theming and the queue line. There's a lot of empty black walls, and you can see a lot of the back of house stuff, which is unfortunate because it is so amazing from the outside, and the queue leading up to the actual coaster is fantastic. It's got my favorite sound effect on any roller coaster ever. I won't even attempt to imitate it, but it's incredible. I'm so excited to see what they come up with next. And this area, Rivertown, has set the bar so high for other theme parks here in Australia in terms of theming and the overall package of the new precincts that they offer. Moving along to number 2, we have Leviathan at SeaWorld. This roller coaster is amazing. It's a wooden roller coaster, and it's themed to a sea monster in the New Atlantis. The presence in the park is magnificent. As soon as you enter SeaWorld, you get an amazing view across the lake of Leviathan looming in the distance, and you can hear the rattling from all over the park. It gives it a very unique charm. A lot of people aren't fans of the rattle, but I love the rattling. It's also got some amazing onboard audio on the lift hill that you can hear from all over the place, so everyone knows when Leviathan is going. The queue experience kind of starts off as a fairly simple cattle pen type queue. It's got a really cool entrance with these large statues pointing spears or tridents at you, and you kind of enter this main courtyard area, which is where you'll wait for most of the experience. And when Leviathan actually goes past, it feels like this enormous sea monster is circling around you and sizing you up. It's very intimidating. You then move on to an indoor section of the queue, which is mind-blowingly well themed. It's probably up there in terms of the theming of Jungle Rush. Unfortunately, you don't really get to stick around in there for too long because you move straight up into the station, which is insane. It's probably one of the coolest stations for any roller coaster in the world. You're right in the home of the Leviathan, and there's these LED screens that wrap around. They're very well integrated. I'm usually not a fan of screens in theme parks, but this works really well. The Leviathan sea monster circles around you, sizes you up, warns you about the ride, and sets you a challenge to prove yourself worthy of being an Atlantean, I think. As you exit the station, there's like a burst of mist, and you go straight onto the lift hill, and there's some amazing onboard audio playing. The Leviathan is talking to you, and you hear like heartbeat sound effects. And then as you reach the top of the lift hill, you get one of the most beautiful views on a coaster of the ocean, of the Surfers Paradise skyline in the distance, of SeaWorld itself and all the other rides there. And then you go into the first drop, which is quite intense, and the rest of the ride is absolutely bonkers. It's a very long layout. Good bang for your buck roller coaster, this one. Quite intense coaster, and I know this might be unusual for people that I've put it so high on my list, but it's just because the overall package is so fantastic. There's so many elements that make the intensity worth it. So much airtime, amazing ejector airtime. My favorite part of the ride is sort of towards the beginning. There's like a double down where you kind of drop down a bit and then it drops down again, and it picks up enough speed to kind of push through this very intense section. Just a really, really unique coaster, and I absolutely adore it. Alright, now for the moment you've all been waiting for. Number one on my list of top 10 roller coasters in Australia. We've got Scooby-Doo Spooky Coaster at Warner Brothers Movie World. This roller coaster holds a very special place in my heart. As a huge film buff, it's so funny to me having a roller coaster which is themed after the original live-action Scooby-Doo film, which is a very corny and cheesy film that I love. It's the most 2000s movie ever, and the fact that an attraction exists to this day themed after that is hilarious to me. The ride facade is really, really cool. It's like a spooky castle themed after the roller coaster or dark ride that you see in the original film, and when it's working, it has some really nice music playing outside, some spooky music, and as you enter the queue, you've got some amazing theming straight from the films. This huge space with knights in armor and gargoyles and this really cool water fountain, and then the station itself is fantastic. You've got the iconic gesture from the film, and the trains themselves have the gesture design just like from the movie. And as you board the coaster, you enter like a dark ride section with some really fun elements that kind of remind me of like the quintessential ghost train type vibe that you expect when you watch movies. You've got like swinging axes, near miss elements, some little dips and drops, and then you go into an elevator which lifts you up to the main coaster, the main part of the coaster, which is like a wild mouse structure. But before you do that, the elevator stops at the top, rolls you backwards, and then you do a nice little backwards drop before going onto a turntable, which puts you into the rest of the layout, which is just a classic fun wild mouse layout with some really fun twists and turns that will have you making all kinds of crazy noises. Whenever I ride this, I make the most insane sounds ever, and you kind of like egg on the people you're riding it with to join in and have fun. And I'm sure the ride operators on that have heard some bizarre noises, mainly coming from me. And I just love this ride so much. I know it's subjectively not the best roller coaster in Australia, but it is my number one favorite. And it's a ride that I can marathon. I can ride it over and over again, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times in a row. I never get bored. And it's been closed for a few years now for refurbishment, and I miss it so much. I've got homesickness for Scooby-Doo Spooky Coaster. And and I can't wait to see what they come up with when it reopens, which I made a separate video on my channel if you want to learn more about that. But that brings us to the end of my top 10 list of roller coasters in Australia. A little bit of an unusual list, I know, but I did warn you. I warned you that it was going to be different, and I'm sorry if despite my warnings you were shocked by my placement of DC Raffles Hypercoaster number 4. But like I said, my list might change. Maybe I'll get braver, I'll get stronger, and I'll ride bigger and bigger roller coasters until the only one left is Falcon's Flight. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But I hope you enjoyed my video, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment. Do you think I'm a stupid, dumb idiot? Or do you respect my bravery as a enthusiast willing to put Jungle Rush above DC Rivals Hypercoaster? Let me know in the comments, what's your favorite coaster in Australia? What's your top 10 list of roller coasters? Let me know below. I'd love to read your thoughts, read your unique takes. And if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a like, a friendly comment, or subscribe for more. And to wrap things up, I'd like to give a very special thank you to my channel members: Koala75, Lee Donald, SWStevie1, Randall, Maloney's Coasters, Kerry Jackin, Medic Brick, Kai on the Internet, Movies Like Everyone, Audrey Allen, and Oogie Boogie. Thank you so much, everyone, for your very kind and generous support. I appreciate it so much that you enjoy my content enough to support the channel in this way, and it helps me very much because there are costs associated with running a channel. I try to make things high quality, I try to make my videos good, and yeah, so your support really helps me a lot. And for anyone who would like to become a channel member, you're more than welcome to do so. This will give you access to new videos early. You'll also receive a special shout out and thanks at the end of my videos. You'll get special yum yum emojis to use in the chat. You'll get a yum yum sticker next to your username. And last but not least, you'll also get a special illustration hand drawn by me to fit your exact personality and your needs. And for any of my channel members who haven't let me know what you'd like your little avatar to be, let me know in the comments or message me on Instagram and I'll get that sorted out for you. But if you're not in a position to support the channel by becoming a member, you can also support me by leaving a like, a friendly comment, or subscribing for more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.